Firstly, I'd like to thank Dr. G. N. Rao Garu for his, that really was an eye-opener, literally speaking. Because I knew LVPAI had a great reputation. I knew LVPAI has done some fabulous work. And I keep getting a lot of patients who want to go to LVPAI and want a reference, etc., etc. But the kind of numbers that you just presented are mind-blowing. And the very fact, I think more than anything else, the very fact that a man like Dr. G. N. Rao, who had a very lucrative career in the US, who had the opportunity to make millions and probably billions of dollars in the US, has left all that about 28 years ago, when nobody was marketing India globally, when nobody believed in the India story then, or the India potential then, to come back and say, I want to give something back to the society. That in itself is a big, big commitment, and I think we should all applaud him and we should all congratulate him for the kind of work he's rendered and for the kind of human service he's rendered to the community here. And with people like him, I'm quite confident that new state of Telangana and the country as such will definitely do a lot better in the ophthalmology arena. You have to pardon my ignorance because I've never been to an ophthalmologist in my life, so I can't claim to know much about eye care or anything that has got anything to do with ophthalmology. But nevertheless, I do know a little bit about innovation. I do know a little bit. I've been talking a little bit about innovation and how technology can actually be used to bring about a great social change. I'm one of those firm believers. I'm one of those firm proponents of the theory that unless technology is put to its best use to ensure that in a country like India, where we have more than 1 billion people and where we have, I'm sure, more than 1 billion ideas, unless you put technology to the best use, unless you actually have some breakthrough innovations which bring about social change, I don't think technology per se is worth it. I would also like to acknowledge a couple other people in the audience here. In fact, the man who made me come here, the man who invited me to this occasion, our chairman NASCOM and also chairman the Science Group, somebody who's been like a mentor for the last 1 year, somebody who's been guiding me, and somebody who's been helping me to actually come to some wonderful occasions such as this. Mr. Mohan Reddy Garu, he's one of those doyens of the IT industry. Again, another pioneer as far as Hyderabad IT industry is concerned when things weren't that great. I think when not a lot of people knew anything beyond where we are seated right now. I think he took the leap of faith, and he actually, along with a few others, started off the STPI, and then that's how the ball started rolling. And today, Hyderabad is the number 2 IT exporter in the country, and that is because of people like him, and not because of politicians like me. So, a lot of people a lot of people would love to take a swipe and say, I've done this, I've done that. But I think in our country, whatever growth we've received so far, whatever growth we've seen, is in spite of politics and not necessarily because of politics. So, I think a lot of people like him have really contributed, have really done well. And John Werner, where is he? Yeah, of the MIT Media Labs. And the other gentleman here who's just told me that he has the Triple H, story, Haryana, Hyderabad, and Harvard. So I think you have a lot of. It's an eclectic group from all over the country, and some out of towners and out of country people as well. I think good days are ahead. That's what I can tell, especially in innovation. One thing I'd like to quickly touch upon about this boot camp, I've met some of the young entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs, upstairs about 15-20 minutes back, and some of those things that they were talking about, I realized that eye care, especially in India, is in a very, very, not even in India, but if you think about it, across the world as well, is in a very, very kind of primitive stage even now, as we speak, because some of those things that they were talking about, how you could measure using a technology, the pupillar dilation, constriction, etc., I assumed that this would have already been in place. I mean, some things that they talked about were literally surprising. But all said and done, I think with an institute like LVPEI here, and with somebody as able as Dr. G. N. Rao, I think the opportunity now for these youngsters, because I keep talking about this every single day, wherever I get a chance. A lot of times when I look at the unfolding innovation arena, the technology arena, and the startup culture in the country and across the world as well, I'm surprised, I'm baffled. When WhatsApp gets valued at $19 billion, I'm one of those guys who's in the middle age, so I'm baffled, I'm confused. But lot of the youngsters are kicked. They're enthused. An idea. Today, the fact remains. The other day we had our industrial policy launch, where even Mr. Mohan Reddy was one of the guests out there. We had a gentleman called Mr. Deveshwar, who's the chairman of ITC, and he was talking about something fascinating. He had said, in today's world, it's easy to manufacture, it's easy to come out with products, but the real value lies in IP, the intellectual property. Because it's easy to manufacture a piece of shirt, which something like what I'm wearing, for about 2,000 rupees in Hyderabad. But you take it out of Hyderabad, put a Gucci or Armani label, it can be sold at 25,000 rupees. So where is the real money here? The money actually is in branding. The money actually is in positioning. The money actually is in intellectual property and how you build on a brand. That's the story that I think the world looks at today. So the fact that WhatsApp gets valued at $19 billion may be surprising to people like me. But I think the real story lies in the fact that the intellectual property and the worth of it and the potential of it, which is assessed by the buyer, I think that's what really matters in today's world. Because any idea, any product, any innovation is only as good as its valuation in today's market. So therefore, I think the world out there is waiting for you guys. And I don't think there is a better time to organize this boot camp than the Digital India, Digital Telangana Week that is going on currently. In fact, you may have heard the Honorable Prime Minister speak the other day as well. He threw a question, in fact, he threw a challenge at the youth of this country. He said, how come India and Indians are recognized across the world as great IT warriors, great IT soldiers, but not as entrepreneurs? How come we don't have a Google coming out of India? How come we don't have a Facebook coming out of India? How come we don't have these breakthrough multi-billion-dollar organizations, multi-billion-dollar valuations coming out of India and across the world as well, where Indians reside? And to tell you more, I was in the US along with Mr. Mohan Reddy about for 3 weeks in the last month. I think it was in May. I met a lot of Indian entrepreneurs of Indian origin who are now based in the US, who have done exceptionally well, who have really made a mark in America, in the Silicon Valley and elsewhere, who've done really well. The fact is, they had to move there because their ideas were not appreciated necessarily, but their ideas were not given the wings that they require. Their aspirations were not given the energy that they require to be world class and to be accepted globally. The challenge today that Indian governments face, be it the government of Telangana or the government of India, is to provide that platform, is to provide that ecosystem where ideas are nurtured, encouraged, cherished, and ensured that they are projected in the right light across the world. And that's exactly what government of Telangana is set to do now.